What's up, YouTube? Hey, I wanted to take a little time and make another video. I haven't really put out a cooler weather fragrances video as of yet, and I know a lot of people already have theirs out. So here's mine. These are this should be 10 fragrances that I've been wearing in the cooler months. I mean, I've been wearing more than this, but these are I guess some of the more noteworthy ones that I decided to grab and share with you. I would say that each one of these has been worn multiple times since it started getting cooler. And this is in no particular order. This isn't a top 10 per se, where I'm going to start at number 10 and work down the list to my favorite by any means. So don't read anything too much into the order that I put these in front of you. And actually, let me just count these really quickly. There's actually 11 fragrances here. The reason I say top 10 is because a couple of these I've been layering. And so I'm going to count the two that I've been layering as one scent. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with this guy right here, Oud Ispahan. I picked this up not too long ago. I think it was back in August on a trip to Vegas. This is gorgeous stuff. This is part of the Privé line, Christian Dior, and so you do have to get this from the boutiques, but well worth it. And beautiful, beautiful stuff. A lot of similarities to leather oud. For those of you who've tried leather oud, though, and don't like it, definitely give this a shot. Leather oud has a funk to it that this just really doesn't have nearly to that degree. And this starts off beautiful, almost I'd say an abstract floral feel to it. And then dries down to something that's similar to the dry down of leather oud, but leather oud starts off with that civet note, and that civet I think is what people are getting when they feel like leather oud comes across funky, fecal, whatever it is that people have a hard time with. I think civet's a big part of that, and you don't get much, if any, civet in Oud Ispahan. So this is really nice stuff, and I've worn it a number of times. Next, this guy right here, Serge Lutens Chergui. Nice stuff. I think what sets this particular fragrance apart from a lot of other fragrances is the hay sugar. This is not sweetened the same way as a lot of fragrances. I think a lot of fragrances tend to rely on vanilla for a sweetening factor. And also, I think vanilla, and don't quote me on this, I think vanilla is also, bigger molecules, doesn't dry down as much, so it tends to be something that sticks around for a while. But this is sweetened with hay sugar, so it's still sweet, but it's a different kind of sweet. But nice stuff, very different, very complex, and also one of those niche fragrances that won't break the bank. Chergui, Serge Lutens. Next on my list, I'm going to go ahead and grab a designer. This is one I've worn a bit. Boss Bottled. I know in the community that there are those who really like this stuff and those who feel like it's overrated. I enjoy it. I think it's decent. I don't love it, but my wife does. So this is definitely a good one to wear for her. But Boss Bottled, decent stuff. This is definitely one of those ones that is sweetened by vanilla. But nice stuff for the cooler weather. Next up, I'll go ahead and grab another niche. This guy right here, Tom Ford, Oud Wood. Don't know how well you can see that, but Tom Ford, Oud Wood. This is one that actually my wife and I picked up in Vegas probably, I don't know, a little over a year and a half ago. And we had gone to Vegas, and I really had Tobacco Vanille on my list of things to buy. In fact, I think that was the main thing, one of the main fragrances that I was looking to buy while we were there, if not the main fragrance. And then I smelled Tobacco Vanille for the first time, and I don't know, I wasn't smitten by it. And I actually, this was another one that I tested out. I ended up liking this more at the time, and so my wife and I went with this one instead of Tobacco Vanille. So this is definitely one that that I've been wearing here and there. I haven't worn it a ton of times by any means, and I would say that I probably am not enjoying it as much At this point, as I was, you know, at least during a portion of last winter when I was wearing it. But definitely one if you like oud, one to check out. Maybe get in on a split, get yourself a little bit, or just get yourself a sample. Tom Ford Oud Wood. Okay, now here's the duo. This would be the 2 scents that I have been layering lately. And there you go. That is Bond number 9, New York Amber, and Rose 31 by Le Labo. And I think they work pretty well together. The New York Amber is a very, very resinous amber. It's not a sweet amber. It's almost an earthy amber, but it's a very resinous fragrance. And then Rose 31, of course, is rose, and it's oud, and it's a number of other things. That 31, I think, either means the total number of notes or the number of notes that are accompanying rose. But from a distance, when my wife wears Rose 31, I actually have thought before that she was wearing New York Amber. And but what I get out of these, I think the reason that they work well together is I think the Rose 31 makes the New York Amber a little bit more, gives it a little more character. And I think the New York Amber takes down the bitterness of the Rose 31. I have a hard time wearing Rose 31 all by itself because I'm not a huge fan of bitter fragrances, and I find it to be, really bitter. And so when I wear it on top of New York Amber, I just feel like they work pretty well together. And that's actually, there's my scent of the day. Right there is Rose 31 on top of New York Amber. Okay, up next, go ahead and go with this guy right here. Needs no introduction, plenty of hype, and also I'm sure plenty of reviews in the community on this Frederic Malle fragrance, Musc Ravageur. This is another one that I think when we went to Vegas about 1.5 years ago that I really felt like I needed to smell. And really quite interesting. This is one that when I smelled it, this is exactly what I would expect musk to smell like. You take all of these notes, as Maurice, Roussel took all of these notes and put them together. Somehow he made a whole bunch of different notes come together into something that smells like what I would think musk would smell like. It's nice stuff. I'm a little, I wouldn't say hot and cold on this fragrance. Well, actually, maybe hot and cold is the way to put it. There are definitely times where I like it more than at other times, but it's nice stuff. And I think Maurice Roussel did a really good job, like I said, taking a whole bunch of different notes and putting them together into something that I feel like overall smells like what I would think musk would smell like. So there you go, Musc Ravageur. Go with another designer. This is one that I mentioned in my About Me video that I put out just the other day. This is the one that I would say started my fragrance collecting, and that is John Varvatos Vintage. This is really nice stuff. The way I would describe this, to me, this smells like a nice, spicy apple cider made with sour apples. And so the sour apples, to me, that's kind of how the rhubarb note is coming across. And then, you've got just, the rest of the notes combining and forming this kind of spicy apple cider with sour apples vibe. And so to me, this is great for the holidays, and definitely a good one for the cooler weather. Absolutely, John Varvatos Vintage. Next up, this guy right here also needs no introduction. Of course, that's not the official bottle. This is Tobacco Vanille, also a Tom Ford fragrance. And like I said, when I smelled this about a little over 1.5 years ago, I was not smitten by it. But when I smelled it again, when my wife and I went to Vegas in August, I think I liked it more at that point. And then not too long after that, Dan the man decided he was going to split this bad boy, and we got in on the split. And we got, I think we ended up getting 30 milliliters of this guy, and it is nice stuff. It is definitely nice. Very prominent vanilla note in this particular one, and then you know, it's almost a, you know, there's more going on in there as well to accompany that, you know, something dark, something spicy. There's just a little bit more to it, and this is nice stuff. It's great for the cooler weather, and I think really good for the holidays as well. And this guy right here, this is Back to Black by Killian. And this is also nice stuff. And kind of like the Chergui, whereas Chergui is sweetened with hay sugar, so it's a little bit different, a little bit unique, but still sweet. This one's sweetened with honey. So same thing. It's a sweet fragrance, which is nice. I like that. I tend to like sweet fragrances, but it's a little different because it's the honey instead of vanilla. Once again, you know, it's not just another vanilla sweetened fragrance. And so this is nice stuff. I mean, along with that honey, there's definitely more going on there. I have a hard time picking out individual notes in this particular fragrance, but you can tell there's some complexity to it to go with that honey. This is nice stuff. By Killian, Back to Black. And then last but not least, this guy right here. And this is, of course, Creed Royal Oud. My sticker's peeling a little bit here. But smoky, sweet, and you know, as it progresses, I tend to get what I feel is sandalwood, you know, a little deeper into the fragrance. Nice stuff. Really nice, especially the smokiness in this thing. It's nice. Like I said in my review of this stuff the other day, I think I paid about $160 for this bottle. I do not feel like I wasted my money. This is a nice fragrance and good for the cooler weather. I also, somebody commented on that review that I did of this the other day and said that this actually works pretty well in the warmer weather also. So I, you know, put it in my calendar in my smartphone to wear this stuff when it's warmer. So test it out a little bit at that point, you know, and see what I think, see how well I feel like it performs in the warmer weather. But these are some of the fragrances that I've been wearing in the cooler months. You know, let me know what you've been wearing, and thanks for watching. More to come.